Felicitations! It is me, Felicia Day, and this is my podcast where I talk about the week that I lived and other things that I'm interested in this week, which have not been many because it was a very eventful week for me, and I'm still very, very, very tired. I and a bunch of my friends, 50 plus friends and acquaintances, and then another 50 or so guests, and then like 850,000 people over the stream. We all did this amazing fundraiser on Saturday for 12 hours supporting RISIS, which is a charity that defends immigrant children in court. And we raised over $212,000. Guys, I don't even have the words to thank every single person who participated in this. We set our goal at 12,000 when we first started in the morning. But I was like, you know what, guys? I think we can make 40. Like, that's literally what I told everybody. I was like, in my dreams, we'll make 40,000. And I can't even tell you, I mean, I think we made like 14,000 an hour or something crazy like that. And just the support was incredible. Like, I forgot why I love the internet. And I will say that just right out because honestly, lately it's kind of a cesspool, and I feel like I'm not applying myself with my creative stuff. And then I go on Twitter and I refresh like every 5 minutes, and I look at Facebook, and I'm a member of like 15 Facebook groups now, which I'm just going to unfollow everything but like a couple of the baby groups I'm in and a couple of the friend groups I'm in, because it's too much, because it is an opportunity to procrastinate from anything all the time. And I am not getting stuff done. And then I start to get depressed because I'm not getting stuff done. And yet I can't stop myself from compulsively checking my Twitter feed and stuff like that. But it's because I had weaned myself off a little bit, but because I did this live stream, I wanted to be online, really interacting. And I launched the t-shirt, which you can get still for a couple more days if you're listening to this podcast. It's at stans.com. If you check Stans out, I have the t-shirt that's raising money for RISIS. And I think that's going to be another, I don't know how much money we're going to raise at the end of the day, but it's going to be a lot of money, more than I ever could imagine. When we did the Geek and Sundry kickoff Twitch stream, I think we raised 120, and it blew my mind that we got over 100,000. And this was, I don't know, almost twice that, which is crazy because I'm not even on the internet that much anymore for a lot of different reasons, and not making internet content as much, which I really miss, but it's just what it is because I needed to spend time with my baby and try to be creative again. So, guys, things are just awesome. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The whole experience really reinvigorated my faith in community and the online world. There was one thing I actually did want to talk about with regard to that. So about, I guess, last week, and I wrote this on I just got fed up because I was online a lot. And whatever I posted, and keep in mind, I'm talking about children. I'm trying to be on Twitter less. I'm going to retweet everything that enrages me because it's just too much right now. And I know it's fatiguing people. So I'm like, let's focus on the things that you really care about, which are, to me, it's like corruption is super important because I don't care what party you are. If you're being corrupt, that needs to be taken care of. And the children most importantly, the children being taken away from their families. So I wanted to focus on that specific issue, thinking that this is going to be the one that bridges the gap. And I really was trying to be on top of monitoring my social media accounts so that when people come in, they're not going to see some kind of right-wing talking point that is incorrect. For example, this has been done since the Clinton era, or this has been done since Obama. It's not correct. There were laws in place that created a problem in the immigration court for these children, unaccompanied minors. So children crossing the border or seeking asylum unaccompanied by an adult or a guardian. But May was the first time that children were taken from their guardians and separated. So it's very well documented by the people who enacted the laws. And so basically, if you see, I just got mad, guys, and I started blocking people. And honestly, I'm not going to block everybody who disagrees with me, okay? I'm going to block people who are rude, who are judgmental and demeaning and condescending, people who blink wrong and I don't like the way their face looks. I'm just kidding. No, the hatefulness is the most important thing. And I tweeted 3 or 4 days ago about, I will always check somebody's profile to see what kind of person they are before I block them, because I've accidentally blocked a couple people where I misinterpreted their tweet. They misphrased it, or or maybe they're just a person who believes in something that I don't believe in, but they're decent enough that I'm like, okay, I'm not going to completely poop on this person. And I'm not going to block them from my life. But 99% of the time, you guys, I click on the profile and it's got to be a bot. It's just a person who is a stream of a certain point of view just retweeting. And so I just block those people immediately. If Twitter had some kind of ability to actually detect bots and things, it would be much easier, because I would be able to look at somebody's timeline and see. I mean, sometimes I'll be like, wow, they're really uncaring to this issue, but they were talking about video games. And I'm like, okay, we're just two people who have differing political opinions. And although I don't respect your opinion on this one specific instance, I don't want to not have you be involved in my work and my life ever. But then some people are so vile, I'm like, I'm okay with you not seeing my timeline. Because several years ago, I had a bunch of incidents where people were attacking me, and it was very scary. And I'm sure you've read about it in my book. If you haven't, it's a good book, objectively. But there was a lot of hate online towards me, and I refused to actually block anybody, because they would deliberately bait me into blocking them, and then they would screenshot it and be like, hey, Felicia blocked me. Like it was a point of pride. It was almost like a contest to see who people could block me. So I refused to block anybody for years. I just muted them. But then now I'm like, I need to make a statement that this is not okay. It's like I have a coffee shop and I don't want somebody coming in and screaming and being incredibly prejudiced toward people in my coffee shop, or just screaming and making it an unpleasant place. Or you're a vile human being. I just don't want you to have my coffee. It's a really bad analogy. I'm stringing along too much. But you know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, we are not meant to have thousands of people inputting their point of view into our lives constantly. It's just not. We're not. Our capacity for human connection, I think they said it was like 100 people or something like that. You can only have a number of acquaintances, and you can only have a certain number of people that you could actually invest in, which I believe is like maybe a couple dozen at the most. I always feel like sometimes I'm just skimming the surface of all the people I know in the world, because I'm not able to give, it's like giving fewer people a deeper attention and a deeper connection, so that you're able to be there for them more often on a deeper level. That's something I'm working on. And I've done a lot of good lately, but unfortunately, when you do something controversial, when you're getting a lot more attention, you're getting all these people, and one voice sounds like 1,000 in your head. Because if you're from a small village of, I don't know, when we were like prehensile people, one person hating on you, maybe there's 50 people in the village. That's going to be super awkward when you go to the watering hole or wherever you poop. You're not going to poop at the watering hole, hopefully, but maybe you do, and that's why you get the diphtheria and the whole village disappears. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying that it feels amplified. So in total, I actually counted, I have blocked in the last week or so probably 30 people on Twitter and 25 on Facebook. And that's it, you guys. But if you look at how many people the posts have been exposed to, it's hundreds of thousands. 50,000, 60,000, 100,000. On Instagram, it's maybe like 10 I've blocked. And it's crazy how you think, hey, this little cleanup, this little bit of effort is making my feed a lot more pleasant for the people who are here and are receptive and want to be here. And I'm like, that's all it counts. I have to give a big shout out to the mods during the live stream, because people consider this a political issue, even though I don't get it. And I really wanted to put that forth. Like, we don't have to be behind lines to talk about this issue. We can actually step over our lines and join hands and be like, this is not cool. This is not acceptable. Let's join hands and agree on this one thing. And how we fix it is put the families back together. Don't take children from their parents. And then we figure out the rest of it. But that's just a basic human thing we didn't do until a couple months ago. And let's not do it anymore. And let's fix it all. So, guys, I have a lot of faith in humanity. And the mods, I don't know how many people they banned on my channel. I should probably look at the statistics, but it can't be that many out of the proportion that were really enjoying themselves. And the Mod Squad, I don't know. I need to give everybody a shout out by name, but I don't have the list in front of me. Toronto Gal, Rocket Soup, Jackie, Fruity Kiwi, Garuda, like Sean. I don't know. There's a million people I need to give a shout out to, but all of you are gems. All right, that's done. So live stream, amazing. I needed to sleep for 3 days. I have not slept that much, so I'm still a little bit groggy. And I realized from all that dancing, I am so out of shape. And tomorrow I have to go to a swimming lesson with Calliope, and I just tweeted about this because I don't have a swimsuit. Nothing fits me anymore. I'm not the same size I was as before I had a baby. And I'm so anxious, you guys. And I didn't go get waxing, and I didn't do any of the things that you should do if you're going to be in a bathing suit. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need my baby to swim, or at least be in the water. So it's going to be bad, and it's not about me, it's about her. And basically, she can poop in her swim diaper, and it's fine. So I don't know why I'm getting upset. People are going to be more focused on her pooping in the pool than they are me having a saggy baggy tatas and bud than anything. I don't know. I need to stop talking about this. Whew. So that's what happened. That's the summary of the week, and I'll let you know how the swimming thing goes. I'm sure it's going to be fine because she likes running through a sprinkler. It's basically the same thing, right? I personally don't know how to swim. It's kind of sad and embarrassing, but I never swam. I had a lot of experience in the pool when I was younger, and I remember I took swimming lessons when I was a little baby, but I had a panic attack one time when my great aunt was throwing quarters at the bottom of a pool, and she was like, go down and get them all. And I went down, and I was there too long, and I started panicking. When I came up, I couldn't figure out what direction I was. So nothing happened. I got up there, but I remember panicking so badly, and it was like a vivid memory, and I never swam again after that. And I sink like a rock. I don't know. I've got like, I might have adamantium inside me. It's just not useful. It's useless adamantium inside me. So I don't know. I really need to learn how to swim because I'd hate to die, and then I'd be like, hey, you could have gone to the Y and just learned how to do that. Hey, you could have just ate more broccoli and not gotten colon cancer. Like those are the small regrets you're going to have at the end of your life when you're like, oh, if I had just done a little prevention. That's whenever I walk by a hospital, there's always like 4 or 5 people who work there in scrubs. They're smoking. And I'm like, you guys see this every day. What is your deal? I hope I don't know, you guys. This is turning into a wandering kind of podcast, but hey, did I ever promise anything more? Okay. What I really want to focus on this week is a TV show that my brother Ryan became obsessed with. And so, long story short, I flew him out with my airline miles, and I wanted him to be on the stream with me. Although we never ended up playing a video game together, I thought, we'll do a Co-op Tattoon reunion, and it'll be really fun. Also, he's the one I actually got the idea from. He tweeted, how can I do a fundraiser for this cause? And I was like, I could do a fundraiser. So kudos to Ryan for giving me the impulse. And then kudos to Annie and Ryko, my friends, for actually getting everyone together to do it. So anyway, while I was kind of working on the fundraiser, he would watch this show called Treehouse Masters. Which, what? That's a show? Oh, yeah, it's a show. Oh, yeah. Just hold on. And to be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of reality TV in a long time. I've been watching British Baking Show religiously. There's a new season on PBS right now. Love it. It's a new season to us, British people. It's like, it's so old. It's a terrible accent. So I love, but my guiltiest pleasure is traveling to do a convention or a speech or whatever I'm traveling for work and sitting in my hotel room and watching House Hunters International or any other makeover show of a house. Especially House Hunters International, though, because I really want to be an expat one day. I have to figure out what skills I have that could maybe allow me to live in Europe. I don't have them, guys. I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. I have very specific skills that do not translate to anywhere but Los Angeles in a very good way, but I'm working on it. But anyway, these people always are like, why do you get to live in Barcelona for 2 years? What are you going to Norway? Person from Topeka? And I always get angry, but I'm so jealous of them. So that, I think I've watched every single episode of House Hunters International. Even though you could edit that show into 5 minutes. Honestly, you could just like show 30 seconds of each of the 3 choices. And then you could be like, we chose this one. That's literally all you need. They have so much filler. Guys, it's so maddening. And yet I still watch it. I also watched this show called World's Most Extraordinary Homes. That was on Netflix. And I think there are only 6 episodes, but it's so fantastic. And that's the one where you're like, I'm never going to make enough money to have anything this nice. I'll never be disciplined enough to get rid of my mixer and my cat food, toppers from my counter and have a house that looks this pristine. I'll always have underwear hanging in my bedroom somewhere or bathroom, drying out. Because you got to hand wash your underwear, guys, okay? It'll shrink. Let's not talk about that. Anyway, I will never have that nice a house, but it's so nice to watch it. The last episode is my very favorite, and you guys will know because there's a car cabinet in it. If you watch it, just let me know. Leave a comment. So I'm really into house shows in general, but I haven't been able to watch them lately because of the baby. Oh, tiny houses. Like when that came out, guys, right? Those are great shows, except you just scream at the screen because universally they will go into a tiny house and they will say, it's a little tight. Really? It's a little tight? You think? You're in a 200 square foot box, which you deliberately set out to buy and or rent, and you think it's a little tight? Give this Sherlock a badge. Is that a phrase? But this Treehouse Masters is the equivalent of tiny house shows from a couple years ago, because constantly I would walk into the living room and my brother would be screaming, "That's not a treehouse! That's not a treehouse!" And I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "That they are building a 500 square foot house around a tree stump 3 feet off the ground." And I completely agree. That is not a treehouse. I mean, I would think that a treehouse needs to be at least the height that you have to climb into the tree, and the tree can't be an accessory. It can't be like in the middle of the tree house built. That's just a tree in a house. That's not a tree house. Tree house by definition would be a house inside a tree, not a tree inside a house. I don't even know. There's no blurry line here. It's just clearly you can't. I've seen houses with a tree in them. That's not a tree house. It's a house with a tree. So they really skirt the issue to me. They skirt the definition of treehouse to me, but still unbelievably good. So I'm so into the show, you guys. It's on Animal Planet, which I never watch Animal Planet ever because I never ever want to see an animal abused. I don't want to see animals hunted. I don't want to see, they have so many shows about animal control and hunters and things. I just can't watch it. I will watch Puppy Bowl once a year and that'll be it. And so I was looking up Animal Planet because I'm like, wow, why would Animal Planet have a treehouse show? That's real tangential. They have insane shows. They have shows called My Cat from Hell, Monsters Inside Me, Escape to Chimp Eden. Those sound like Roger Corman movies from the 50s. My Cat from Hell, Monsters Inside of Me, Escape to Chimp Eden. Right? It sounds like a 50s bad movie. Also, they have a show called Animal Stuffers, and it is a documentary about people who's taxidermists. They will do a show on anything. I don't know why I'm not on Animal Planet. I could have a skill, some kind of skill. Not with animals. I have one cat. That's it. So I'm going to be watching Treehouse Masters a lot more. But also, oh no, do you think that's the only Treehouse game in town on cable? No, cable has it all, you guys. There is a Treehouse Guys show on the DIY channel. I put them both on my DVR. I'm going to see who defines Treehouse better. Who's going to have a higher skill of Treehouse? Who's going to be better, more pleasant to watch? I don't know. It's a Treehouse off. They also have a couple of other shows. I don't know. These channels, does anybody watch cable anymore? It's so weird because there are all these little channels And having made web content for like no money and been forced to make it for less and less and less over the years because digital, just there's no money in it. Nobody can actually monetize anything. I just don't understand how these channels are able to sustain these shows. Like DIY channel has a million shows. Like they have Treehouse Guys, but they also have Pond Masters. By the way, I put that on my DVR because why not? What's the definition of a pond? I'm sure I'm going to yell at their definition of a pond a lot. They also have like a whole slew of shows that are puns, like Garage Mahal and A Brick at a Time, starring Danielle Brick, which is weird, BRYK. But okay, the one, and I don't know why I went that. I was trying to do some writing today, and clearly I went down a rabbit hole. But thank God for you guys. At least it's a little more interesting. They have a show that I have to watch called Amish Renegades. And let me just read you the description of this show. And if you're not from America, like, you clearly need to, I don't know, somehow get this channel. Co-stars of the DIY's award-winning series Vanilla Ice Goes Amish. Okay, that's a series? First of all, what? Master craftsmen Robert Schlabach and Albert Miller get the spotlight to themselves in, quote-unquote, Amish Renegades. When they take their talents on the road, it's a new experience for the men who leave their Ohio hometown for the first time to work on home improvement projects around the country. From the big city of Chicago to the bright lights of the Las Vegas and the beaches of Southern California, Robert and Albert get an eye-opening look at the quote-unquote English life. What? As they tackle modern tasks like managing social media and driving a car. At work, they create a shaker-style kitchen, customizing bamboo cabinets and mid-century modern furniture, and turn a top floor into a cozy home office and kids' playroom. What? So they make him, like, manage a Twitter account? Get an eye-opening look at quote-unquote English life? Is that what Amish refer to as Americans? Or anybody else who isn't Amish? I don't know. I don't understand Amish. All I know is I watched like 3 episodes of that Rumspringa show on MTV like 10 years ago when I was in college or whatever. And that's all I know about the Amish. And I apologize for that because I would be a better person if I knew more about Amish and Mennonite culture, because clearly they make good furniture and clearly they have more TV shows than I do. So, Vanilla Ice Goes Amish? That's a real show? And it's an award-winning series. Like, what kind of awards did Vanilla Ice Go Amish get? I'm currently Googling it. Vanilla Ice Goes Amish. Okay, let's see. What kind of awards? A culture clash indeed. How does one cope without a smartphone, car, and especially on construction projects where power tools are the norm? Electricity. Rapper turned home renovator Vanilla Ice, a.k.a. Rob Van Winkle, which I never knew, find out in a big way in this series, a follow-up to his popular DIY program, The Vanilla Ice Show. Oh, so the Vanilla Ice Project. Oh, so Vanilla Ice had another show. So the Amish Renegades is a spinoff of a spinoff. We're already 2 spinoffs deep. With no frills and no music, but still topped with his favorite flat-brim baseball caps, Ice visits a large Amish settlement in Ohio to learn the lost art of craftsmanship by hand. Wow. They do a barn raising and a basement renovation. He looks really good. I still don't, I need to look, where is the, no, it's on the DIY. I don't know what awards they got. Like this award winning, where's the award? Show me what award he got. Nope, got nothing. If anybody can find it, please leave it in the comments. So clearly I have a hobby, and I just got a Hulu account because I've been too cheap to get Hulu and Netflix just has a lot more that I enjoy. But I've wanted to see Handmaid's Tale and Harlot really badly. And if you have a Spotify premium account, you can add it on for like $4. And believe me, I got no kickbacks. I have no sponsors, guys. I'm sharing this information if you want to get cheaper Hulu. I don't have a code to use or anything. God, one day I'll get my crap together and actually monetize this thing. Pay for my expenses. I don't know. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited about... So I don't know if I'm going to watch Harlot, a show about 19th century prostitutes, or I'm going to watch a show about 19th century men dealing with Twitter. Who knows? All right. So, and there's also a show called Insane Pools that I really want to watch. So I'm going from Treehouse to Pools. And then my brother now is watching Grand Designs, which is a show on Netflix about people in Britain that take weird buildings, lighthouses and churches and all that stuff and turn them into a house, which I love it. I love renovating. I sometimes will just get on a real estate listing and just look at how people redid their kitchens. And lately I've been trying to redo my living room, and I've been looking at a lot of end tables. And guys, it is the best way to procrastinate in the whole wide world. I could tell you, if you're like, oh, I want a mirrored nesting end table that has brass inlay and a mirror top. Boom. Kings Lane. I'll link it to you. I should be a decorator, or at least an online shopper for decorating, because I'm so good at procrastinating. Anywho, well, guys, I guess that's all. I mean, that was enough. I guess the consumption or the consumption section was the whole podcast this week, because talking about those. I mean, how would you guys define a tree house? Like, some of these people had saunas in their tree house. Some of them have a house that goes around 7 trees. Is that a tree house, or is that a tree-filled house? It's a really slippery slope, and I would love some definitions. Because I don't want people to get away with, stuff. Okay. Other things I consumed this week, pretty much nothing, because I was busy. I mean, it's been all-encompassing. So this next week, hopefully, I will be consuming. Oh, I read a book called Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Caine and Anne Aguirre. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I've read a lot of books by her. She wrote this series I love called Grimspace. And I'm friends with Rachel Caine, who I love her writing. She wrote several series that I adore. And they combined to do this sci-fi book that I really enjoyed. It was a light read, and it was great. I read it in like 2 days, and it was a refreshing change about sort of sentient ships. I think Anne McCafferty had didn't she have a whole series of sentient ships? Because I remember loving a series like that, and I can't remember if it was Anne McCafferty or somebody else. There was also... She had a sci-fi series with a girl who was like sort of the chosen one, but it was like in space, and she had a unicorn horn. I don't know. If you guys can remember that book too, because I really want to reread it. Okay, so we have a couple questions I want to wrap up the day with. Lauren Hickman Mabin and Brian Valencia ask, hey, could you, in addition to telling about your eating and your watching, could you give us an update on the pink boot situation? Am I satisfied with the repairs he made? Or will you see... Okay. I will not see the guy in court because I'm not going to sue the guy, okay? But honestly, a week after I uploaded that... Well, probably 4 days after I uploaded the podcast, I finally went to go get my boots because it was on the other side of the city, and I just don't get over there that often. I went all the way over there because I was recommended this guy. That was how I got into the boots situation. And anybody who's just tuning in... My first episode, I think, I dropped off this pair of salmon cowboy boots to this crazy cobbler, this out-of-control wackadoodle cobbler who charged me $200 and then tried to call me and charge me another $100, which I put my foot down and I said, I'm not going to pay you the extra money, and he backed off because he's insane. I cannot believe I'm so angry. I have not worn the boots since, by the way, guys. So I went to go get the boots, and I'm such a wimp. I took the baby on a 35-minute car ride to go get the boots just so I could bring her in case he wanted to get violent with me. Because I assume, which is the opposite of what I should have done as a mother. Like, you don't want to bring your baby into a potentially violent situation. But in my mind at the time, I was like, well, nobody's going to get crazy around a baby. No cobbler is going to go postal around a baby. I don't know. It was a bad judgment call. And thank God it didn't go badly because he was very respectful of the baby. He's like, oh, what a cute baby. And I was like, great, here she is. Can I have my boot? And I'm like, here, baby's over here. Give me my boots. And I grabbed the boots, and I got in the car, and I looked at it. And it was, guys, I'm not kidding. It's the worst patch ever. It looks like someone stuck a Band-Aid over the hole. It is not smooth. I don't know if you can patch. I don't know enough about patching shoes to know, can you make it a smooth patch so you don't see all the edges around the edge? Because it literally, he did match it well. It is salmon. But the edges of the patch on the top are like a Band-Aid. You could see all the edges. So those are the boots. And the guy, I haven't worn them since. And I will never go back to that guy. And the irony is there is a shoe repair place like a mile from my house. I drove by it the other day and I was like, whoa, I wonder what they would charge for salmon shoes. Probably not as much as I've ever paid for any other pair of shoes. So, guys, that is the deal. And I guess maybe I could do another question. I don't know. I mean, it's such a long night and I just want to go to sleep. And I'm recording this on July 4th and outside there are fireworks. I think that there are fireworks everywhere. All the dogs and cats are very, 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 very scared right now. And it's very sad. Okay, let's do one more question because I don't want this to be short because one person will say, hey, this seems short. Okay, whatever. Just listen to your latest podcast with Sam. Thanks, Michelle. My question is, what's your story of your cat? When did you get him or her and how long did they live with you? Does Calliope like the kitty? This is a good question. Michelle, this is a good question because I just mentioned kitties. And guys, if you want to post a question to me, I still don't have a good methodology, but go on Twitter and use the hashtag felicitations. Sean Sandalooky, if you guys know him from the Vaginal Fantasy podcast, he is so sweet. He has offered to call all the questions into a Google Doc for me, so I will never miss you guys. But if you use the hashtag felicitations, he will be able to put it in there and we will not miss it. So thanks, Sean. You are a gem. My cat, her name is Speed Bump. And I'm going to put her picture on God, there's a lot of fireworks outside. I hope it's fireworks. So her name is Speed Bump. And the story is that my partner was driving one day about 10 years ago. And the story is crazy. But anyway, he was driving down a road and he saw a person in front of him hit a cat. And so the way he tells it, he did like a Tokyo drift and blocked 6 lanes of traffic and ran out and got this cat. And it was a kitten. It was like a 3 or 4 month kitten. Really tiny. And of course, not moving. So he's horribly upset and traumatized. And the thing about it is the cat was still alive. So he went to the nearest vet, dropped him off, and her leg was broken in 3 places. What happens? $2,000 later, we own a cat that we didn't really want. But she's a really good cat. And the funny thing is that we had 3 cats for a long time, and one of them died unexpectedly from shoulder. She had a weird cancer in her shoulder that the vet said, oh, it's because of a vaccination site, which is weird. That doesn't sound like science, but I guess, I don't know. And then the other one died of lymphoma last year. Or no, right before the baby, the year before the baby. And it was very, very traumatic. Those are 2 cats. They both died very young. They were only like 8 or 9 each. That was the funny, strange, terrible part. But Speed Bump was really overweight and had no personality whatsoever. She would just eat, and then lay there like a lump. And once the other cats passed away, she became a really cool dude, except she poops everywhere. I have stepped in more cat poop, and then she eats too fast and pukes up her food in the morning. I give her half a can of soft food every morning, pukes it up. She's really friendly. I got new couches, and I had to put like sticky stuff everywhere. And I was like, you know what? You can puke and poop everywhere, but if you touch my brand new cloud couches, I will have your head. So that's the deal, guys. Speed Bump, she's fine. I mean, I guess when you describe a cat that poops everywhere and you have to clean up puke every morning. And I took her to the vet. They're just like, she gobbles her food. She just overeats. But she's a skinny cat now. She's a lot healthier, which is great. And she has way more personality. But she definitely, when she's upset, she will poop. And she knows what she's doing. When she's upset, she will look at you and be like, oh, hey, friend. And then, right there in front of you, even if it's a clean box. So it's a passive-aggressive thing, which, quite frankly, if I could do that to people I'm unhappy with, maybe I would do it. Maybe in a different era, I would have done that. Probably not. So I would say my other cats were so bad. They were so subpar. Nobody else would take them. I would look at them daily and be like, wow, you're terrible. I'm glad that I own you because nobody else would. But this cat, I would say she's a 5 out of 10. But then on poop days, she's a 4 out of 10. Because other than that, she's never peed anywhere, which I think is the worst. I can pick up a poop. That's easy. That's portable. No thank you to the pee, which my other cat did all the time, all over. And she would sit on the top of a bureau. Charlie, she was a black and white cat. So incredibly unpleasant, so dumb. And she would sit on top of the armoire staring at me in bed from about, 10 feet up. And I'm not kidding. She would have murdered me at the drop of a hat if she could have. Like, for real, murder. So this is an improvement. And Calliope is very good with the kitty. Like, the cat was like, what is this thing? And ever since I moved her into her own bed, the cat has slept on the bed again. And she's so much happier and self-righteous and smug. No poops in a couple weeks, guys. Knocking on wood. So maybe that repaired the rift in her psyche. But Calliope will go up and she'll go, pa, pa. She's saying so many words now, you guys. It's so cute. I won't talk too much about it. I'll talk more about it next week. But she will go, pat, pat. And I'll go, gentle touch, gentle. And she will pat the cat. And then eventually she gets really excited and she just starts pounding the cat in the leg and the cat leaves. But they get along pretty well. I have a picture of the cat sleeping on the big girl bed with her. And it's probably my most favorite picture ever because it's like, oh, there's a stasis in the house, and there's no poop on the floor. So, anyway, thank you for the question, Michelle. They are very close to our hearts. These animals, even though most of them should be lucky that they live with us. But I would never buy an animal. I used to be super militant about it, and I need to just back off. There's enough in this world to get upset and self-righteous and judgmental about that buying. I mean, I would prefer everyone to adopt animals because there are so many who need adopting. But I think that the fundraiser that I did shows that, there are lines and there are lines. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast of me just talking. I'm going to try to do an interview next week. I did Sam Smith from Supernatural last week. If you have a chance, check it out. If you enjoy the podcast, please spread word. I would really like more people to listen so that I could get a producer on board or something. And if not, I'll keep doing it. It's fine. But the more people who listen, the better. I will be taking your questions on Twitter or in the comments on SoundCloud here. And if you could spare a chance, please go to iTunes and review it because those reviews help new people discover this. All right, have a great week, you guys. Bye.